Hey everyone, Prez here, and today we're looking at another Talishar game. This time we're looking at a game I played against Kayo, who is definitely a little bit more of an easier brute to deal with because their hero power encourages them to run a bunch of cards that are only 5 power. That means that we really get to lean on the same tools that we get to lean on against all the other brutes, being our 9 copies of Herald of Triumph, our Reprimands, and our Halo for Triumph. But just that those tools are a lot more effective. In sideboarding here, where I really care about getting all of the red heralds in, because again, those are our damage dealers. I'm not fussed about yellow spectras, I'm not fussed about library, I'm not fussed about Light of Soul. These are just no blocks, they don't help our defensive plan. They do contribute to our offensive plan, but the yellow spectras are just really slow, and we don't need Light of Soul to win, but Light of Soul can restrict your decisions later in the game when you draw it and you've only got 6 life kind of deal. So we're cutting all the cards that make our decisions forced, that make our decisions clunky, and we're just looking to be as streamlined as possible. Onto the gameplay, we're going first. I really like going first into Kayo. With 6 copies of Wrath and 3 copies of Reprimand in the deck, you've got a really good chance of being able to force damage through turn 0. And into these heroes that are just trying to almost straight value trade you and get increased value out of triggering Phantasm, being able to go first and get that first Herald hit, get that first Angel in play, get that free 4 life, is really, really important. In this case, we get a Blood Rush Bellow. Really happy to see that block turn 0. Only having to deal with 2 Blood Rush Bellows over the course of the game makes me a very, very happy person. We get to push over for 1 damage, we get our free value. In this case, I think it's better to drop that blue Spectra and get a Ponder for the free arsenal, just to keep that tempo, keep the cards flowing, and get some permanent value in play. Kayo is going to come in with a Wild Ride. It's only a yellow, so they're losing a damage off this, but that's okay. Seeing yellow Wild Ride also tells me that this is the version of the deck that's going to be playing a lot more of these non-block cards, so that I can be even more aggressive in my lines. But more importantly, because they're playing all these non-block cards, they're looking to use a lot of Go Again, which means our Angels are going to get the full 4 value the vast majority of the time. We're going to lead on the yellow Ravagers. This is so the PS Reality pushes it to an actual breakpoint, which encourages them to pop. Because we've got a PS Reality in play, I'm really incentivized to use this Halo for the pivot turn as early as possible, just to really push our advantage. Drawing this Erudition, perfectly fine, that's really, really good. I'm happy to have a good follow-up after this turn. But also, now we get to fetch another Angel. It's going to be War. We just want our +1 damage. We want to draw some cards, and we want to come in with that Herald of Protection red for our final chain link. And because we fetch Triumph, it's still active for the rest of the turn. Even if they have something bigger, we draw the Reprimand, but honestly, I think I'm going to hold the Reprimand here so that we can pair it with our Erudition Pierce next turn. If they don't block this, if they just take all of this damage, it's a very, very significant amount of value that we've generated. We get our 4 from Erudition, we get our 7 from the Herald of Protection, another 1 from the on-hit, and we probably fetch Figment of Protection for another shield. Yep, so we're coming in with that red Herald of Protection to finish off the turn. It's 8 because of that Courage token we fetched off War. Because they've got those no blocks in their deck, they functionally just have to eat this. We get our additional 10 value Herald. We get another Figment in play. All of our draws are better for the rest of the game. And our follow-up turn is Herald of Erudition with Reprimand with a PS Reality in play. So if they continue to not respect that blue Spectra, it's going to continue generating so much value for us over the rest of this game. I'm going to fetch Protection here just to generate another shield. And just it gives us some flexibility. I really like fetching Figment of Protection on the turn that we go for our Triumph Erudition play. Just to have the best chance of keeping Soraya around. They roll Scabs, they get an extra action point, fun class. Coming in with a Bare Fangs for 9. They generate another Might token, some good value, and that Scabs roll basically just means that we have to take this. With a second action point, there's no realistic way that we can keep Soraya around and use them, so we're just going to let it die. It's 4 life, it drew 2 cards, it did its job. We'll see how they respond. Oh, this is a 7, this is probably coming face, this is coming face. So you see they are disrespecting that blue Spectra. They have a lot of armor, but we can just gain our 3 life here. And if they, no matter what, if they pop us, we have a Reprimand ready. If they put a whole bunch of armor on it, we just play this blue Spectra and save the Reprimand for next turn. PS Reality gets even more efficient when you pair it with multiples. Yeah, see? And this is perfect. We're perfectly happy just to let this go. I think I might even pitch this. Yeah, okay. I can do better than a blue Spectra. Also, just being able to activate Prism is really, really nice. We are going to do that. So we're just going to get our 4 value, take their entire armor suite. I love taking their entire armor suite here. I love getting value regardless when they throw Scowling in front of our attacks, and just making sure that effect is wasted. Because all of a sudden, they've only got 3 armor left. They've got a Blood Rush Bellow. Okay. I'm again very happy that we made the choice to awaken Bellona last turn. Just getting that 4 life, preemptively blocking their Blood Rush turn when we can. That's really, really good. They're leading on Claw here, which again means they're probably not clearing our blue Spectra. This is really, really good. Again, we've taken their armor suite. They don't have the armor left to block another buffed erudition. We've still got Dreamweavers up. We've got our full value out of our angels every single time. So we're functionally a 40 life hero. Well, we're over 40 life at this point. Coming in with another yellow wild ride. Blood Rush Bellow means this is pretty threatening, but as is the way, we just have to eat this. It's nothing else that can really be done. We've got a Reprimand, so we can play around everything pretty safely, and no matter what, we know that we've got another 9 off our Red Herald, 4 off an Angel, and then 5 off this blue Herald of Protection if we need it. But again, we've got the option. We can drop this blue Spectra and really pair Passing Mirage and PS Reality together. Those cards are deadly in combination. So keeping in mind that PS Reality has now equated to 3 damage off that first Herald of Ravages, being the 2 buff and the 1 arcane that it got through. And it's translated to another 2 value on that erudition that equated to another piece of their armor, their entire armor suite being put on that erudition. And now we're getting a further 2 value off of it. And that value is just what helps Prism snowball. It's pretty innocuous. It's difficult to really see how good these blue Spectras are, but just being able to sit there and generate 2 value every single turn is so backbreaking against these brutes. We're not going to banish here, we just want our 4 go again, and this probably means we're throwing this blue Herald. There's even a world where you pop Dreamweavers on it, but honestly, I think you just want to take a card. This is the thing about Kayo, especially this Kayo deck that runs these yellow wild rides and just a whole bunch of no blocks. They don't like blocking. A lot of the time it really limits their turn. And their entire deck is built to go 2 or 3 chain links wide. So if you just keep pushing, keep demanding cards, a lot of the time they are unable to give them to you. Even though this Herald is Phantasm, they just take it. We've got them to 5 life. They don't have Arcane Barrier. All of a sudden, we're in a really, really interesting position with with Figment of Ravages. These late game states against KO. Oh yes, Ash, that makes sense. These late game states against KO get really, really interesting with Figment of Ravages, and you'll find a lot of the time that you can just kind of get there with some sneaky arcane, some cheeky arcane damage. We can't stop this pulping getting go again, but we can stop it from hitting us. We just, again, want to get our full value from that angel. So we're perfectly happy. We see the Blood Rush being pitched. That's the 3rd one gone. We know where it is. We don't have to worry about it for the rest of the game. Second pulping, again, we're just getting full value on our angels because they used all their armor that first time, because they're still disrespecting this PS Reality that we dropped on turn 0. We now have Dreamweavers, Erudition, and guarantees off this PS Reality that we get a hit, because there's nothing that can really Reckless Swing. I haven't seen a Reckless Swing yet, but they need a 5 block from hand along with their 2 remaining armor pieces. It's just not really going to happen. So we can block, we can get our value, and we know with some certainty that this Herald is going to hit, and because of that we know we're going to push them even closer to that range where Figment of Ravages is lethal. This is really, really good for Dreamweavers. This is really, really good for PS Reality. We're just going to push this damage, awaken Ravages for free. They're most likely taking 2. Yeah, if they block with a card, are they going to block with a card? Well, they have to block with a card, otherwise they die. Oh. Excuse me? Ah, okay, they do have Reckless Swing, look at that, but it was in hand. So we take some damage, that's still fine. They take 1, and we draw the cards that we need in order to push Ravages for lethal. Because, again, we've seen so many of these no-block cards, it's entirely likely that they're sitting with multiple in hand. So we just have to put them in a state where we need 1 to 2 cards. We're going to take more cards. We're going to limit their ability to hit back. And if they do block this, accidental misclicks, if they do block this, they have to be able to clear the Angel next turn, which they can do off just a single card by throwing Claw into it with a Might token. But that just puts them in such a terrible position. And if we find a Herald of Triumph, well, we've got a red Angelic Wrath. But if they just have 2 no blocks in hand, nope, they don't. Cool. So they take 1. Nope. Oh, they just concede. So because the last card in their hand was a red, they needed that Reckless Swing to hit that Wild Ride rather than that E-Strike, just so they had enough block value to get them through the turn. So as you can see, we've kept the game as short as possible, and we've really abused the fact that Prism just gets these hugely above rate turns. Right? We get our Halo Triumph Erudition. We get these turns where we just get to conjure 6 or even more value out of thin air. We get to abuse our Wraths. We don't really care about Spectra, because in this kind of game plan, we just care about tempo. We're pushing damage, we're getting as much through as possible, and we do have limited tools, so it's really important that we use those tools effectively. Anyway, this has been another good game. I hope this helps with people that are struggling with the Kayo matchup, and again, let me know what heroes you want to see next. Cheers!